mentioned you were looking for a group or anything to get into music, but you were dancing, right?
Yeah.
So what's up with the dancing? Like, when did you get into this dancing vibe?
All right. I wanted to get into music, but I didn't have an inroad. I didn't know how to get into the music. I really wanted to sing, but I didn't know what avenue to take. And so I saw where every night you had live music at different nightclubs. That was what was happening. So I was thinking if I could talk to some of these managers or promoters to see if I could, get an opportunity to sing at these nightclubs. But it wasn't working, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna get into dancing. And there was a group called the Estrelita Dancers. And I wanted to join long ago, but I could not find the people who manages the dance troupe. And finally I found them. And I was drawn in, and I was a very good dancer. I was a very good dancer because I was using that now as an inroad into the music. And I got an opportunity night after night when we dance. They would allow me to sing like a one song. And with that one song, they would give me another opportunity to sing another song.
Do you remember what song you would sing during that time?
Island songs. I was singing like songs that Harry Belafonte would sing. Deo, this is my island in the sun, that type of energy. I started singing those songs. And I even toured with the group. We went to Grand Cayman and did very well.
What was the pay like? Were you getting paid?
No pay.
No pay. All right.
No pay.
That's why I asked, because I always hear people say they weren't getting paid.
No pay. No pay. But you're so appreciative of the opportunity to be doing what you're doing. Pay to me was not important. In those days, money was not the issue. Yet you needed money. But just to hear your voice on the radio, just to know that you are dancing and you're making people happy, you're entertaining, that was enough for me. And then after dancing, then I got an opportunity now to sing with a group called the Gaylettes. The Galets was already in existence, but they needed a lead singer. And so where I used to rehearse, do dance rehearsal, there was a sister there, Beryl Lawson, who was a cashier at the Baby Grand Club. It was the Baby Grand Club. And so the people for the dance troupe, we would rehearse there. And so they asked Beryl to be a part of the dance troupe. So she became a member of the dance troupe. And then we would chit-chat, and she told me that she was a member of this group, and she wanted to reinstate the group, and she wouldn't mind if I could lead a group, because they heard me singing after rehearsals in the bathroom, and you would be doing some of your bathroom songs, and she heard, and we became very good friends. And so we reestablished the group. Her and another sister, Merle Clemenson, they were the two former members of the group. And so Federal Records heard of us. There was this brother, Henry Buckley. Henry Buckley was a writer. And I just happened to pass his gate I'm living on Jake's Road in Mountain View. And I'm walking down Jake's Road and I heard like somebody playing a guitar. So because I'm musically inclined and anything to do with music, I want to see who is playing this guitar. So I knocked on the gate and this gentleman came out. And I said, you playing the guitar? And he said, yes. And he said, if I want, I could come in. So I went in and he told me that he's a songwriter. And he wrote the song, Silent River.
I was going to ask you about the big hit. Well, go ahead.
He wrote the song, Silent River, Runs Deep, and I Like Your World, and many other songs that the Gaylettes did. And he was a recording artist himself. And so he introduced us to Federal Records.
That's how the relationship started with Federal Records.
Right. That's where it started.
First time in the studio at Federal Records, right? How intimidating was that for you?
Bad. It was devastating because I didn't know it was so much that it took out of you. This is why some people take drugs. You know, it took so much. You have so many eyes looking at you and telling you what to do, and you really don't know what to do, and sometimes they are not friendly. You know, they intimidate you. Sometimes it becomes intimidating. And it was hard, but we got over it. I got over it.
I have a question, right? So when you went to Federal Records, did you record on the track or you had to record with the band?
You record with the band.
All right. The question I have now is that because I believe, I don't know if Alton Ellis told me this, right? But he was telling me that, like, sometimes the band is playing on a key that you can't get to. Have you experienced that? Like, your voice is here, but they're playing here.
Yes, and that's really a discomfort, and it will throw you off balance, because if the band is playing in one key and you are singing in one key, that's total confusion. The band and the singer must be on one accord.
Because he was telling me they basically just want to get people in and out, especially if you're not a big artist. They just want to get you in and out the studio.
Yes, yes. And sometimes they don't have any patience. Like when I started at Federal, I never experienced them having patience with me. They wanted to get it, and I'm doing this thing for the first time, and they wanted to sing it a certain way, and if you don't sing it a certain way, they will even shout at you. You know, and that...
At the females?
Yeah, they'll shout at you. They'll shout at you. Some people have an arrogant mentality. Some people are calm and peaceful, and they get the best out of you when they are being calm, and they can walk you through what they want you to do. But when they shout, that creates a certain nerve.
Throw off the vibe.
Throw off the vibe. But those are some of the growing pains and pangs that I had to go through.
All right, Gaylettes, they had a massive hit, right? But two of the members leave. They go to America. You're there. You stay there, right?
Right.
How hard was that period of your life when they left? Because you were part of a group and had some success, and now you kind of like by yourself again.
I was pregnant, and I wanted to stay back in Jamaica to have my child. They wanted me to come to America. They got an opportunity to come to America, and I didn't want to come. I want to stay back, and so it was very difficult. It was hard for me. I wasn't really earning as I used to, and at that time, I mean, God has always been good to me. That was where Mrs. Sonia Pottinger from Tip Top Record, I admire this lady, and I always wanted to get an opportunity to work with her and for her. But I didn't want to just go and let her know that I needed to work. And in those days, you never had telephone, so you had to send messages. So she sent me a message to say she wants to see me. And when I went to see her, she told me that she had a rhythm that she wanted me to sing a song on. And that was I Shall Sing. It was a song originally done by Miriam Makeba. And I was able to do the song. And that was where it all started for Judy Mowatt.
All right. Before we go forward with Judy Mowatt, right? We need to talk, was it Julian Mowatt?
Julian Mowatt.
Julian Mowatt, right? So
you have a lot of history.
We're going to get into the history here, right? I know it was some mix-up at Federal Records, but before we get there, I just want to make sure, were they actually giving artists etiquette lessons and voice training at Federal Records?
That's a lie.
They weren't giving it?
They weren't.
All right, I just want to make sure I clear that history up.
That's a lie. As a young girl, they wanted me to sign a contract, separate and apart from the group. And so this lady, Mrs. Curry, she brought like a book. It's a contract, but it looks like a book. But she was naming the terms, and her terms sounded real good. You know, she was not allowing me to read. Plus, I had no legal tutoring, no understanding about legal affairs. So I had no legal understanding. And so whatever they told me, I would just take that, you know, as truth, believing and not expecting any lies, you know. And she said, okay, we are going to send you to do voice training. We're going to allow you to do choreography. We're going to allow you to learn mic techniques and all of that. And that sounded real good because I wouldn't have any other way. I wanted to do all of that, but I had no money and no way. And so she said she's going to do all of that. And I signed the contract. There were a lot of other things offered. And I went ahead and I signed the contract based on what I was told. Only to find out that the contract was perpetual. It was forever. Forever. And it renewed itself every 3 months. So here's a contract that I have no control over, and it renews itself every 3 years, not 3 months, every 3 years. So there was a group that they were recording, and at the time they had taken me now from the two girls, the Gaylettes, and they started to record me, and they thought I would have been this big hit. And it never happened. So they got a group from America and they were recording them. So what they did with me, they put me on the shelf. So there was no way I can record because I have this contract over my head. I can't go and record for anybody. So I cannot do anything. My career would have ended where it started. And I was on the shelf doing nothing, looking to do other things, get into another career. I wanted to be a nurse, you know, but I never had the money to even go and do the classes, to do the subjects that you needed to get into nursing. Not knowing that music, the power of music, is making me a nurse to nurse the souls of people, the sick souls of people, people who need love, people who need affection, people who going through trials and tribulation, and there is a song that relates to a human situation. You know, there's always a song. And this is why singers should be careful what they sing, what they put on the vinyl, what they put on tape, what they do, because it's reaching out to people that needs changes in their lives, and you should be that one to take them out of the situation they are in and to put them at a place where they can find peace, love, joy. That's what music is all about. When I came into music, that's what I gravitated from those who were before me. You know, that joy, you know, you could dance, you're happy, you know, and plus it's also deep because it brings you to a level of consciousness. It brings you to a level of consciousness and awareness of who you are. You know, that's what music does. Like for Bob Marley his music will tell you your background, who you're from and where you're from, who you are. You are from African descent. Nobody's going to tell you that, you know. So as Bob said again, music is going to teach you a lesson. Music is teaching information, you know. Let me go back to where I was. A segue because I wanted to make that point.
No, we got you.
Yeah, but where I was.
Oh, you were breaking down. I wanted to know about the name change, because you changed your name for a while to record. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mrs. Sonia Pottinger, remember I tell you, she called me. But no, I need a name because Judy Mowatt is signed perpetually to Federal Records. So there's no way I can use Judy Mowatt name out there. And there was Lee Scratch Perry, who was at Mrs. Pottinger's. She had a record shop down Orange Street, and he was there the day, and we were talking about the controversy with the contract signing and how to get out of it. And he said, why don't you change your name? And Mrs. Pottinger just, you know, looked as if it was a good idea. And him said, call your name Julian. Okay, close to Judy, call your name Julian. But the thing is, after I started recorded on the Tip Top label as Julian, it was difficult now because when I go on stage to perform, I have a problem. The people know me as Judy. So I was singing Julian songs. But people not knowing that it's not two different people, it's one and the same. So that created another problem, you know. And it took a while, but finally I got out of the contract. I got a lawyer and I got out of the contract.